Hello and welcome to Ladies Night of the Hobby CNC with Dave show. Please join me in welcoming, first of all, my sidekick here, Ryan, aka the Wolfman. How you doing, buddy?
Doing all right, Dave.
Alrighty, and also our guest tonight is Lisa. How you doing, Lisa?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. And Mary Mallory. How are you, Mary?
Hi. Doing well, thank you.
I have to start off the show by saying I'm a little bit disappointed because we had, or I thought I was going to have four ladies on the show tonight, and we had some things come up, and a couple of them couldn't make it. So, but we're going to soldier on with Mary and Lisa, and so get your questions ready, guys. If you have a question you want to ask, if you would, just put a big Q, a couple of Q's in front of it, and my buddy Ryan makes it easy for him to spot them and flag them, and we will make sure we don't miss them. And another thing I want to do right off the bat, too, before we get started talking, and then I forget about it, is Cody. Everybody should know that Cadence Manufacturing and Design, my good buddy Cody Elkins, is the sponsor of the giveaway every week, and we always give away some kind of a Jenny bit. Well, he contacted me today and he says, hey, since it's ladies night and tomorrow's Mother's Day, how about we just give away a pair of Jenny bits? So we will be giving away, let me get the pretty little videos he sends me over here. We're going to be doing the giveaway for not one but two bits. One of them will be this one, the mini Jenny, which is a 1/8 compression bit, and then the other one will be for a, I think he calls this one the 1/8 downtown Jenny, and this is a 1/8 down cut. So we'll be giving away a pair of those tonight. And if you want to enter the drawing, and that's why I'm telling it now, so we can go ahead and y'all can be going ahead and putting in the hashtag thing. You'll want to put in hashtag Jenny, and I'm going to have this giveaway tool already collecting these. So anytime you put them in the chat, it will be adding them up. And then at the end of the show, we will give away a pair of those Jenny bits. So hashtag Jenny is what you're looking for, and I'm going to go ahead and start this collecting those right away. All right, let's get started. This is going to be a little different here, I guess, because usually it's me and Ryan and a bunch of other crotchety old men, but so we got a couple of ladies here classing up the place tonight. But let me start off with just a few questions, and I'll give time for the viewers to come up with some questions. Right, and for tonight. Okay. Well, since it is ladies' night, okay. Never a dull moment with that guy. For crying out loud. Anyway, let's start off just so that people know, and it may help generate some questions. And Mary, I'll start with you. Tell everybody just real quick, what kind of a CNC machine do you have, and how long have you been running CNC machines?
I have a Gatton CNC. As far as how long I've been running it, not very long. I've had some family situations that have taken me away from it for a bit, and so I've been on again, off again with it. I'm starting to get back into it. I've made a few projects. Mainly, I did a craft show at Christmas where I made a couple items using it, and then I've made a gift at Christmas time, and I've recently made a gift for someone else. So I'm pretty new at it.
Okay.
Overall, although I've had it for about 2 years.
Okay. All right.
The assembly process took about a year because of everything going on, and then I've just been dabbling with it here and there as I've had opportunity.
Okay. All right. And Lisa, how about you?
I have a Laguna Swift 4x8. I've had it for about 2.5 years. I got it the Thursday before the COVID lockdown,
Oh, okay.
Good
and I
timing.
cried.
Yeah, that's rude.
Cried. Before that, I started out with an X-Carve. I was scrolling through Facebook, and there it was, this thing, and I said, I'm gonna buy this. My husband said, no, you're not. And I said, yes, I am. And 2 weeks later, it was at the door.
Okay. Now I gotta ask, because there's a little bit of a difference between an X-Carve and a Laguna 4x8.
Yeah.
So did the X-Carve, was it a good little machine for you to kind of cut your teeth on and
I
learn
think
about
so.
CNC?
Yeah, I think so. Of course, back then I never saw anything else. That's all that was showing up was X-Carve. So I did learn some things, mostly the software. And then people started saying, well, can you do that bigger? And I said, well, let's see how big we can go. So here we are.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with you. Easel is a really easy way to learn how to use these machines.
Yeah. But I went straight into V-Carve
Nice.
to the Vectric.
With your Laguna or with the X-Carve?
No, with the X-Carve.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay. So by the time you got the Laguna, then you probably already had a good handle on the Vectric software.
Yeah.
Then.
I have a
Okay.
Spire now. I haven't learned how to do much with it other than what I was already doing with V-Carve Pro, but one day.
Okay. Well, there's
Just
lots
takes
of
time.
lots of good tutorials out there on the VCar Pro and a Spire. So
Yeah.
let's see. Now, as far as software, what software do you use, Mary?
I use the Vectric. I started out with the Vectric.
Okay.
So I bought it shortly, about the same time I bought my Gatton kit. And my table is built to hold a half sheet of ply, so it's 4x4.
Okay. And have you? How are you doing in the Vectric? Because you said you're still kind of new at this. Are you new at running the machine or new at designing or both?
I have a silhouette machine, and so there's a lot of similarities between the software and the silhouette software and the Vectric software. There's also a lot of differences. So I feel pretty comfortable with it. I watch a lot of YouTube videos. I watch a lot of Mark Lindsay's videos, and
I've heard of that guy.
I've heard of that guy too.
Sorry about that.
I've watched a little bit of Garrett Fromm's stuff, and I actually earlier just watched a video. Both of them were on the same, or I guess Garrett was interviewing Mark, but so I scroll around, and if I'm trying to do a particular type of carve, I will look for information there and watch several videos until I get the hang of it, and then I go scrap some wood, and then at the end I actually come out with something I can use.
Okay.
So,
Now I have links in the video description for Mary and Lisa, but go ahead and tell our viewers, Mary, you have a Etsy store, I believe is what the link
Yes.
you sent me to.
I do.
And I took a look at it, and it looks like you have a lot of, I guess you'd call it home decor
Yes.
stuff. Is that mainly your go-to product?
That has been my go-to product. It's been very on trend with that farmhouse decor look, and that's transitioning as most trends do. And so with the CNC, I was wanting to use that to transition into other things and to do some personalization with some of the things I already make, like the window frames that I make, to be able to personalize the frame itself, or any other items that I make on there. So everything I make is from scratch. I don't. I try to use reclaimed materials if I can, but most everything is from scratch.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And Lisa, how about you? You have I think the link you sent me was for a Facebook page, if I'm not
It's a
mistaken.
Facebook page. That's that's all I have right now, other than TikTok, and I'm not a good TikToker.
Yeah, I'm not a TikToker at all. So
No.
Me
you're
either.
well ahead of me on the TikTok thing. So what kind of stuff, is there anything that you specialize in, or you just kind of make all kinds of stuff?
Mostly lake carvings, anything lake related, because we live between two lakes, and there's rivers, and there's lakes all around us. And I just made one just for us to have and posted on Facebook, and it's taken off.
Okay, when you say lake carvings, you're talking about carving it out and then putting in the resin?
I don't use resin much.
Okay.
Unless it's a tabletop, I don't use the resin. I just carve it with a V carve, and I make my own files, put the towns that people want on there, and sometimes their name.
Okay.
So
And
are they geographical type maps or type?
I just make the carve of the map. I don't add any roads or
Mhm.
anything unless somebody specifically wants that.
Okay.
But I've done the lower passage in Alaska, and just about almost every lake somewhere in the United States I've done. Each state I've done a map. I feel like I could guide on Bull Shoals Lake, but I don't go out there much.
Okay. Now, Mary, this might be a tough question for you because I know you said you're still fairly new at all this, but I'll ask you this question first anyway. As far as the CNC stuff, what do you feel like was the biggest learning curve, or was the learning curve for the CNC easy or difficult? And what is or maybe was the biggest hurdle?
I think building the machine from scratch was a big challenge for me. It took me out of my comfort zone. Just being that precise in the build itself, and because I've approached most everything I build is from an arts and crafts perspective. So building that machine to the precision that's needed, and also doing all the electrical work, wiring everything up, that is out of my comfort zone. I can wire an electrical outlet in a house and that sort of thing. But as far as wiring the machine and getting it all to move together in sync, and getting the software settings within Mach 3 set up to where it goes where you want it to go, that was a huge challenge for me.
Mm-hmm.
But the motivation behind doing that was to be able to know my machine inside and out, so that if something happens, I can have a better idea how to repair it, what needs to be done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's probably the big difference between, like you say, you have a Gatton CNC, which I sell, but it is no doubt a DIY machine.
Yeah.
There's a lot, there's a lot to do because it comes just basically with some of the basic parts,
Right.
and everything else is kind of spec'd out for you, but you still have to, as far as the controller, it's wide open. You can, some people control it with Arduinos and Raspberry Pis and, all kinds of things. And that's kind of left up to the end user. So it is definitely a DIY machine, but, kudos to you for putting that together, because that's, you're an official Gattoneer now, whether you know it or not. So,
yeah,
Lisa,
I'm sorry. I was originally, like Lisa, looking at the X-Carve, because if your phone hears you say CNC machine, you just get inundated with these ads.
yeah.
So,
And you know what? Now that, and of course, since we're talking about an X-Carve in tonight's show, guess what'll be popping up on my phone tomorrow?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Every time I have my phone sitting here and we talk about something, I can't remember what it was we talked about last week, but all of a sudden the next day I'll start seeing ads for that thing. And of course, they say they don't listen to you, but
Yeah.
I'm not buying that.
But my brother has purchased one of your kits before I did, and he was the one that introduced me to the Gatton. And I know he has all the components to build a Gatton CNC, and as far as I know, he's not even started on it. So you need to call him out on that.
Okay. All right. Well,
Well, he's probably going to just have you build it for him.
No, he's in Georgia. I'm in Indiana.
oh, okay.
That's probably not going to happen.
Yeah.
Okay. And Lisa, what was the, what was the biggest challenge for you when you started in CNC? Was it the design part, running the machine, or a little of both, or?
A little of both. Just learning. Like I'm like Mary. I started out with Silhouette Machine, and used that software, and it was a huge, it was a big change. But I watched so many videos, and to this day, I still have to follow along with the video to do stack text.
Mm-hmm.
Every
Okay.
time, that man and I go step by step.
Yeah. Well, I call that YouTube University.
Yes.
That's what I call it, because that's where I get everything I know is pretty much that I've learned within the last 15 years has been from YouTube.
Yeah.
pretty
Now we'll
much.
say going from the X card, which was USB into the computer and then into the controller. It was a big change going from that to a handheld controller. I was scared to death.
Mm-hmm.
But now I can't imagine, going back to USB based.
Yeah, being tethered to the computer.
Yeah. I'd probably mess everything up.
Okay. Well, we're getting Ryan's got a bunch of questions tagged over here already, so I'm going to go ahead and start taking some of those. And if we get time, I'll finish up with some more of mine. I'm sure they're going to have some of the same questions I have. But let's see. Brooks Martin says, "Ladies, what's your favorite projects?" Who wants to go first on that one?
Go ahead, Lisa.
Oh, okay. I love to carve cedar. Names in cedar. That's my favorite. When somebody says, I want a cedar sign, I'm all over it.
It smells so good.
It does. And I'm allergic to cedar oil, so I usually sick that night, but it's worth it because it's so pretty. We have a cedar mill next door to us. So I go grab a piece of live edge cedar, and that's what we carve.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
Good to have access to that.
Yes.
I as far as I don't know, I sent you a picture of a recent sign that I made. I would have to say that so far that has been my favorite project, and it's a gift for a family member.
I will pull that up while you're talking here.
Okay. So they have a lake house, and they wanted an address sign to put out front. So I was trying to do the not really stack text, but so I wanted it's just cheap pine because I'm don't feel comfortable enough yet to buy expensive lumber. So I didn't want the bit to leave the marks in the background and have to try to sand that out. So I did a textured background, and I don't know if you can see that well in the picture, but I watched one of Mark Lindsay's videos on how to do the textured background, and I was really pleased how it turned out. And then I did a blue stain in there to make it try to make it look like water. But that's probably been one of my favorite projects so far.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's
No,
awesome.
you don't. At least I don't seem to notice them, but it seems like on Facebook and stuff, you don't see that many people use that texture. I think that's an underused feature that, like you say, when you use that, you don't really have to worry about doing any sanding and worrying about whether you're going to have some machining marks and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's, to me, it's pretty smart to use texturing in places like, especially in pine, because you're going to have some kind of marks show up, and then it's going to be hard to get in there and sand.
But that made the carve about 3 hours. just adding that texture in the background. And then one of the other hints that Mark had given was to do the profile cut around the lettering first before doing the background to help with the chip out or the preventing of the chip out.
Okay. Let's see. We got another question here. Marty Cryer says, how do I take an image and turn it into a 3D image for CNC carving? I have a picture of moose antlers I want to incorporate into a sign, but don't know how to make it look good.
That is not a question for me.
Or me. Or me.
All I know is it can be done in Aspire. I don't know how to do it. I think ZBrush does that too.
Yeah, I think now I mentioned that, usually when anybody asks a question about the Vectric stuff, I always send them to Mark Lindsay.
Yeah.
And then I think he was telling me the other week that when it comes to 3D stuff, you need to see a guy named Mike Mazalik, I think is how you say his name. But he does a lot of 3D Aspire tutorials, I think. And also another good one that, because Laney Shaughnessy, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Laney Shaughnessy from Digital Woodcarver, but he does a lot of tutorials in both VCarve Pro and Aspire. So that would be the two I would send you to, either Michael Mazalik and or Laney Shaughnessy.
And my thought, though, on the whole thing, too, is that if you don't want to spend the time to do it like yourself, check out one of the groups on Facebook, because people will do that for you for like a couple bucks and knock it right out and get it back to you. At least you'll have the flattened image and such like that. Then you can just put it right into VCarve or whatever and do your cuts from there, but it'll already be changed over.
Okay. We got another question here about what would you recommend be included as a starter set of bits?
I know Mark Lindsay did a video on that I watched, and I think it was the downcut end mills, 1/8 inch, 1/4 inch, a ball nose, 60-degree V, and a 90-degree V, and maybe a 1/16 inch. I can't remember if he threw that in there or not.
Yeah, well,
16th
I would
inch
say
bits crack when I just look at them.
Yeah, you'll break them. You'll break them getting them out of the package.
Yeah.
I would
think
say,
about them and they break.
When people ask me about a starter set, I usually say don't buy a starter set,
Right?
because there'll always be 30% of the bits in there will be something you'll never use. Just buy bits as something comes up. If you get asked to do a project and you need a bit to do it for that person, just let them know that, hey, I don't have the bits I need for this, so it's going to be, I'm going to have to throw something in there. If you're charging them, maybe you're doing it as a favor or whatever. But I always do it that way rather than just go out and buy a set of bits, because there'll always be some that you think you're getting a good deal, but you're not really, because if you buy a set of 10 bits and you only use 3 of them, how good a deal was it really? So
I would start with a flattening bit for flattening waste board.
Right, the spoil board, yeah. But
good flattening bit. And again, it depends on what you want to do, because somebody might say, well, you need a 60-degree V bit and a 90-degree V bit. Well, maybe that person's not even going to do any V carving.
Right.
So you have to, like I said, I would recommend against buying a set of bits, and just buy what you need when you need it.
Yeah, I bought those bits individually, and I have done different projects just to experiment with the bits to see what they do and how they perform, and how I can incorporate them, because it helps me to better know how to incorporate them into a project that I want to do when I know what the bit does. Like the project that you just pulled up, I did all that with just an 1/8 inch downcut bit, just to keep it simple. So I didn't have to stop and change bits.
Mhm.
So, I don't know. That's my 2 cents worth.
Okay. Let's see. All right. Marty's got yet another question here. It says, other than Mark Lindsay, who would you recommend to follow? Well, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was
Mary.
going to say Mark, Laney, Shaughnessy, and then Garrett Fromm is probably the 3 that I watch most for as far as VCAR, or as far as the VCAR goes.
Yeah. Yeah. And I was just going to say, who would you recommend to follow? It depends on what you're wanting to learn.
Right.
If it's the Vectric products, then, if it's VCAR Pro, then either Laney Shaughnessy or Mark Lindsay. Garrett, I guess, does some, I'm not real familiar with him, but I guess he does some videos on that as well. And of course, with Aspire, I mentioned Michael Muzalik already, and Laney does tutorials on Aspire too. I will say one thing. I love Laney Shaughnessy. I don't know if you guys know who I'm talking about. Great guy. But when you get ready to watch one of his, get you a cup of coffee and a sandwich.
Pack a lunch.
Because they are long. They are long. But he's good. He'll get it done. But
yeah. Well, what about just woodworkers in general on YouTube? One of my newer favorites is a past guest that we've had on here. It's Hamilton Dillback. I love, he does things like I do. Like he shows you when he screws up, and I enjoy that. And he just put out a video today about making turkey calls, which
I saw that.
Like,
it was good.
Wow. Okay, cool. Pretty interesting.
Yeah. And he has a lot of humor in his too. So if you like people that'll make you laugh, he's a good one to check out. But Marty, any of the folks that do the Vectric tutorials, and as far as that, if you just go to YouTube and search CNC, whatever topic you're looking for, you'll find plenty of stuff. So there's no shortage of that on YouTube. Let's see here. We got Harry Ragland says, are the lake carvings topographical? I've seen some like that.
Not the ones I use the CNC for. They're just V-carved. And then depending on the body of water, you do have sometimes use a flatten, use a depth.
Mm-hmm.
But the topographical ones I do with laser, and I don't do a lot of those.
Okay. Let's see here. JR says, question for Lisa and Mary both. Have you found that people are surprised to learn that you participate in a previously mainly male populated activity, changing a lot over the last 5 years in particular?
Go ahead, Lisa.
Oh yeah. People will come to pick their things up, and they'll say, wow, your husband has some big machines here. Well, they're not his. So, they'll say, how did you learn to do that? That's what a man does.
Yeah.
Just to show somebody I could.
See, that's exactly the reason we're having you guys on here to show that, hey, it's not just a man's world anymore. It's the times they are a-changing.
Mm-hmm.
All right, what do you got to say about that, Mary?
Well, I guess I've always kind of sort of worked in a man's world. I worked in the parts business for a long time, so I guess I've been a barrier breaker for a long time. And I guess I grew up with a dad that told me that I couldn't do things, so that made me want to do them more. But I just I've always enjoyed wood and woodworking, and I guess I don't really pay attention to things like that.
Mm-hmm.
I just do what I want to do. And I have a husband that puts up with me, so
Yeah, that's a
He goes
plus.
along with my shenanigans.
Okay, that's a good deal. JR is also kind of following that up. He says, and if people have been surprised when they find out that you guys are the one running the machine, what challenges has that? And I think okay, let me see if I can catch up to. And if people have been surprised, has that presented challenges?
I don't think so.
No, I
Um,
think that they kind of backpedal.
yeah. And most of the time they'll wind up, well, can you do this? Can you do that? Well, yeah. So, so they'll challenge me, but they usually wind up wanting more items.
Okay.
I think
Right.
the proof is in the pudding when they see your product.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to kind of use this analogy, I guess. It's like, a lot of people like handcrafted stuff. But then there's other people that they don't care whether it's made on a CNC or handcrafted or whatever. They just want something that looks good. And I would think it's kind of the same way. It doesn't really matter whether a guy's pushing the buttons or a lady's pushing the buttons.
Right.
As long as the product looks good, that's all I would worry about. So,
I think there's a lot that goes into the design. So
Mhm.
it takes the knowledge and to design the product and then to be able to implement it and finish it. So I don't necessarily go along with the adage that just because it's on a CNC doesn't make it, woodworking. I highly disagree with that.
yeah, I do too. I do too. It's just another tool in the shop,
Right.
Same thing. I mean, it's a router. Whether you're running it by hand or running it by computer, it's a router doing what you command it to do, whether it be by hand or by computer.
Okay. Got just a couple more questions here. Marty asked, where do you get the images for all the lakes?
I make those. Go to Google, put in the lake you want to look at, put up images, go for black and white. And if you have a software that'll trace, use that. And there you go.
Okay. All righty. Larry Brown wants to know, what dust collection system are you ladies using?
Go ahead.
I have a Laguna Flux 3, I think it's called. It's big and loud. And when I used the X carve, I just used a shop vac and went along with it. I didn't ever hook it up.
Okay.
I have a Harbor Freight dust collector that we've been in the process of changing the propeller out to make it a two-stage. And so, but right now I'm using a shop vac temporarily.
Okay. Now, when you say shop vac, is that piped to your
Not yet.
dust shoe or just following it around?
I have the dust shoe cut out and I have the brushes and I got the magnets. It's just I have to assemble it all and get it mounted up. But I also have one of the dust deputies that goes on a shop vac, and I'll be using that until we finish getting the Harbor Freight converted.
Yeah. It's always funny to me because you can usually, when somebody posts something on Facebook, a little 15, 20-second video clip, you can always tell when they're brand new at CNC because they haven't even taken the time to make a dust shoe or purchase the dust shoe, and they're following it around with the wand of the shop vac. So you can always tell when they're brand new because they're doing that.
Some of us still do that.
Won't mention any names, but his initials are.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it, right?
That's right.
Well, it'll change once I get the walls up on the shop and I can actually move my machine out there.
Well, you can just let it make a mess and get the leaf blower out and do
That
it
works
the way you're at now.
It's all good.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see.
Hey,
Yes.
while you're before you do your next question, I just wanted to bring up that wonderful Cody Elkins through you did a super chat for you,
For a cup of Joe. Thank you,
Yeah.
Cody. You're awesome, buddy.
and also Bob P also did as well.
All right, Bob. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Let's see. Okay. Well, I guess we've already covered this question. This is one I had wrote down, but are you using your CNC for hobby, part-time business, or a full-time business?
I would say hobby and part-time business.
Okay.
I would say all three, depending on the time of year.
Yeah. Yeah. That's that's a good point. Well, when you're if you're considered a part-time business, is that your main goal, is to get where you're just doing this full time and earning a good living right out of your shop or garage or wherever your machine is?
I think it's possible. I have two grandkids that I'm raising, so one's homeschooled, so he's here all day, and we're gonna have to do a little
God
time
bless.
management with that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's
Homeschooling
possible.
stuff.
If I had some help, I think I could really, blow it out. But it's just me. My husband helps with loading materials, but I need somebody that can paint, and somebody that can spray, and somebody that can package things to ship, because I hate that part.
Yeah.
Well, you did say that you are helping homeschool right now.
Life
That
skills.
is art class and shop and
Life
economics.
skills.
I let him push the button to start several times a day,
Nice.
and that's his CAD class. That's what we
There you
call it.
go.
Okay. Cool.
We homeschooled our kids through high school, and so they had a lot of life skill experiences
Yes.
as well. They've helped out in the shop lots through the years with the business. My son, he still helps with some of the bookkeeping end of it, and my daughter still helps. Because they're both in college, so she helps as well with some of the painting and prep work and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
And, so it's been more of a family business. I've been doing it since 2016, and it's been, I guess you would say, a part-time business for me, the Etsy shop as a whole, to you be able to work from home. We also have a hobby farm, and my husband works odd hours, so me trying to hold a job and outside the household is just not practical for our life.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Let's see, we got one more question here. I think this one's directed at you. Mary says, I'm upgrading, and that's Mr. Lindsay, by the way. He says, I'm upgrading a Harbor Freight dust collector for a desk deputy too. What size ducting are you using?
So for the Harbor Freight one, it's the bigger machine that because they sell two, so it would be the bigger machine that they have, and I'm going to be using the 4-inch hose with that once I get that completed.
Okay. Yeah, 4-inch. That's what I use, and it works pretty well.
Eventually, I'd like to have the garage piped where I can hook it up to my other equipment as well, my table saw and miter saw and those things. But it's baby steps, kind of like building your shop, Ryan. I know Mark has been building a shop as well, and it just takes time.
Mm-hmm. I want to mention, if anybody has joined after the first few minutes here, if you're looking to get in on the drawing we're not giving away just one bit, but a pair of Jenny bits. The hashtag for the night is hashtag Jenny. So if you want to make sure you get those in, you'll be good to go for the giveaway drawing here in a little bit. Let's see. We got a
So,
ton of-
Lisa, is that a laser that I see right behind you?
It is.
Oh, tell me about it.
It's an Omtech 130 watt. I started out with a diode, a Your Home diode, and I loved it. So I said I gotta have
Ryan, you got a
bigger.
little drool right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a beast.
Yeah.
The only thing I wish I'd have gone ahead and gotten the 150 watt.
Whoa.
Wow.
Jeez.
I mean, go
So,
big or go home.
yeah. So what type are you doing the lake stuff on the laser as well, or are you doing that?
I do the
just on
little
the CNC?
text with the laser,
Oh, cool.
and then do the lake on the CNC router. That way, my text is even, and
Mhm.
sometimes you got a piece of wood that's kind of got a bow in it, and the laser will do a better job
Doesn't
at the
care.
letters and smaller.
Mhm.
I'm going to try to come over here to your Facebook page, Lisa, and see if we can't find a few pics to show of some of your work.
So how thick of material are you cutting with it?
3/4.
Oh,
And cut
nice.
3/4 ply with it. I don't cut a lot though. I use it mostly for engraving. If I cut anything, it says stack signs. They're stacked, like stacked wall art, they call it. And cut different things, and you stack them up and then make a picture. I do a lot of
Cool.
those.
Nice.
Okay,
Yeah,
here's a nice
That's
family
hand
sign.
painted. Yeah, that's what I used to do exclusively is hand painted signs.
Nice.
Here's a well, I can't get it. Can't get it to get it. Oh, wait a minute, maybe. Ah, there we go. I knew it. That's really nice. I like that.
Yeah.
Very pretty.
I think that's 24 by 36, something like that.
Okay. All right. Oh yeah, here's a better picture of it.
That looks great.
Very nice. Yep.
I like how it even shows the state line through it.
Yeah, see,
Yeah.
the laser does a better job, does a really good job at that.
Yeah, I like that. Oh, there's a little bit different take on it there.
That is on maple.
That's good looking.
Thank you.
Yeah, very nice.
Oh,
Very nice.
That's
Wow.
going to be a sign. That's some pine. A sawmill brought their pine to me to make it's going over a gate.
Oh,
That's-
okay.
That's my favorite thing to date.
Okay, yeah, I
It's a
like that.
3-inch thick live edge sycamore slab.
Pretty.
wow.
Okay. Yeah, that's some nice stuff there.
Now
We got it.
That I did coat in resin. It's got a flood coat on it, so it'll
Okay.
be tabletop.
All right.
Nice.
Got another question here. Has the price of wood impacted your business?
A lot of things have impacted my business. Just traffic in general has slowed as far as my Etsy shop. It had ever since, probably middle of last year, things really slowed down. Price of wood, it just in the competitive market that I'm in, I've tried not to raise my prices, but it certainly cut into my margin.
I think the lack of any really good lumber has been more impactful than the
Mhm.
price. Because we
Yeah,
don't have,
just stuff getting hard to find.
yeah. And I have traveled 3 hours to find a piece of 1 by 12 oak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
what
tell you
is
that-
out there doesn't seem to be as good a quality as
No,
it used
it's
to be.
not. It's not.
Yeah,
Price of lumber
that's
has
what I
impacted my
found.
shop.
I use the same plywood, been using it since day one to cut the Gatton CNC kits out of. And and it really ticks me off because, the stuff is now like $90 a sheet for that stuff.
Mhm.
And used to, I would find a void here and there, and you just, you have to, depending on where it's at in the part and how bad it is, sometimes you just have to replace the part because even if it wouldn't affect the structural integrity of the part, you don't want to send something with a big void in it that runs all the way through to a customer. So then and the way the blanks work out, one kit fits exactly in a 48 by 32 blank. And so 48 by 32, you get 3 blanks per sheet. So everything works out even. Well, when you got a part that's no good, now you got to cut a whole blank just to steal a part out to complete that set. But I have found that recently, not only is the price sky high, but the quality, I don't know what it is, whether it's getting hard to find good help or what, but I've found that, it's almost like every blank I cut now, there's one part that I end up having to chunk and replace. I have to run 2 blanks and just have a spare set of parts for the other. So it's kind of frustrating, but
Yes.
it is what it is. Marty's got another question here. She says, so Lisa, you hand trace those lakes. I want to do a wooden map of our lake here in Maine, but can't find a good map.
I guess you could hand trace them. I use Vinyl Master software with my vinyl cutter, and it has a good trace program on there. I guess you could hand trace what you wanted and maybe scan it in and put it in whatever software you're using. I don't know why you couldn't.
Yeah, no, I'm assuming, Marty, that you're talking about wanting to do this with the CNC. So like Lisa just mentioned, you can hand trace anything, but you've still got to get it into a digital format of some kind to be able to run it on the CNC, which that could be, if you're trying to do something really big, then you're going to have a problem trying to get it scanned in, probably. I would guess. Let's see here. I think we're just about out of questions. Cody says he's a huge supporter of the homeschool community. Yeah. Bob says, I lost a hard drive. That hurt my business.
That'll do
That'll
it.
do it.
That'll do it every time, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
Every
It'll get you.
stinking time. Let's see. Jerry Brown says, oh, let's talk about prices. I got a shipment of wood and the minimum is $500 for delivery.
Wow.
Doesn't take much to spend $500 in lumber.
No.
Yeah, I said that was about like 3 2x4s.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would go with this way. Let's see, what was her name? Marty? Marty, yeah.
Yeah.
I would, if you've got Vectric, they have that bitmap trace function in there, which works pretty good. Just depends, it's kind of like everything else, garbage in, garbage out. If you get a real dirty picture, and when I say dirty, I mean, lots of pixelated stuff, a lot more cleanup will be involved. But if you get a good black and white, and I've shown, just for Marty's sake, I will screen share and show, because maybe she don't know this. Marty, what's the name of the map or name of the lake that you're looking for in Maine, if you don't mind? And I'll Google it. Has she said?
It's Great Moose Lake.
Great
Not moose head. Great moose.
Moose Lake. All right. Let's see. Okay. Let me share the screen here. I've just Googled it. And this is kind of stuff I'm finding here. So, and if you're out there, Marty, tell me if this is something something that you're looking at or hoping to get. And you could actually change this. I always show this because I'm surprised a lot of people don't even know you can do this. But if you come over here to the tools and you can change the type that you're looking for and look for a line drawing. Let's see, here's some, that's it right there, I guess. So you could probably bring something like this in straight into Vectric and trace that. And if you get a black and white, it'd probably trace in pretty good.
You can also use Snazzy maps.
Okay. I'm not familiar with those, but
I'm just now learning how to use it. You just go to the Snazzy map site and make a map, make a style, and you can actually pick what you want to show. You can do away with roads. You can do away with, and just have the water there. And then, but you still have to trace some kind of way. But it'll be just your, just your lake.
yeah. Mark's got a comment for Bob, Help the Bridle, #backup.
I take it he's learned that the hard way too, just like I did.
Yeah, I bet he knows now. Okay, all right. Yeah, I hope maybe that'll help you there, Mary. If you Google it and change the file type to line drawing, you find something that will be much more better for tracing using the bitmap trace. Jerry's talking about best option is to use a light board and a fine tip pen, hand draw it in and scan it into a computer stroke in Photoshop. Okay. I guess would work. Todd's from Maine as well. Ray says
Lots of
Dave
ways
did
to skin a
a
cat.
great video about tracing.
I watched that one.
Okay. That's another thing too. You don't have to use the bitmap trace function. You can use the lines and curves to trace it by hand. Usually what I do is pull something in. I try to get the cleanest drawing I can get. And when I Google something, I always set that tool to a line drawing, try to find something that's black and white. That way there's good contrast, and bring that into bitmap trace. But if it's still just a really pixelated thing, then you got to do it the way Mark's talking about. Just bring it in and kind of trace around it by hand. But I always try the bitmap trace because you never know. It's worth a shot. Sometimes it works great. Sometimes not so great. Let's see. Okay, we're still getting some #Jenny's in there, which we're right at the hour. I guess we could do the drawing real quick here. Keith Painter in the house. How you doing? Says he's late. But if you know me, we'll still be here after normally. Okay. Sylvia says the live or that line drawing option is cool. Yeah. And that's what I mean. Every time I show that, there's always somebody that goes, man, I didn't even know you could do that. And I didn't know it for a long time. That's why when people always talk it, because if you just search Google for an image and it's including all the types, you'll hunt to try to find just the right thing. But if you set it for, and let me come back here for a second. Okay, because see, I have it set to line drawing, but you can also set it like normally it's like this with any type. So you get all kinds of stuff, a lot of stuff you can't use. But if you come here, you can, if you're looking for clip art, you can get clip art. See, that would be a good thing for the Great Lakes there because it's, you know, just two colors. They'd probably try all this black and white, this moose stuff that would trace good. So the clip art's usually not bad, but if you're looking for something that you need to trace like a lake or something, the line drawing is probably going to be your best bet. And it looks like they have all kinds of, you know, because when I put in Great Moose Lake up there, but it's finding a lot of moose head stuff too. But yeah, it looks like something like that. Or one of these. Yeah, that one looks a little clearer. But I bet that one would pull in pretty decent. All right, what do you say we give away a couple of Jenny bits? Let's show them off one more time. This is one of them. We're going to be giving away a pair of Jenny bits. One of them's the 1/8 compression, the mini Jenny, that beautiful thing right there, and then also this one here, which is the 1/8 down cut, or the downtown Jenny is what he calls it. So we're going to give both of those away tonight. And to get in on that, you will need to have hashtag Jenny. Put that in the chat just like you see it. Right now we've got 50 entries, so I'll give it a few more minutes and leave that up on the screen for any last minute folks that want to get in on that. Let's see, where'd my questions go? I think we just about covered. What kind of things do you like? Like if you had just something you could run, whether it be for a family member, a customer, or for yourself, what would be your favorite thing to run on your CNC?
Well, I like the cedar stuff, and probably a stack text. That's always fun after I do the video over and over.
Yeah.
You have to go get my tutorial out, but they always turn out neat.
Yeah. Well, you know, I would think the stack text, because I've done them before, and I've even done videos on, or I know we did a live show several years ago on how to do it, how to set up a template for it and all that. But it's still one of those things where if you don't do it all the time, there's so many steps.
Mm-hmm.
You got to stay on top of it, or you could do a step out of order or something like that. But there's lots of good tutorials out there. Vectric, Vectric's the one I watched when I first started, and I think Mark's done one as well, and probably half a dozen other people out there too.
I'm
I
a big
enjoy
fan of the
making
stack
gifts.
text.
Yeah, I enjoy making gifts for people, especially wedding gifts and things like that. And probably the stack text is something that it's one of those things I'm working towards as far as learning to do that.
Yeah. Now, I have always seen, and I'm guessing because I don't sell the stuff, you know, my favorite thing to make with my CNC is other tool stuff, you know, whether it be more CNCs or jigs and fixtures. That's what I like making, where you design something and cut out all the parts and slap it together, and now you've got something you can use. I'm not, you know, I don't use my machine at all for that kind of stuff. So now I forgot what I was going. I was going to tell you, I just saw that Mary, if you put that hashtag Jenny in the and you guys are eligible to be in the drawing, by the way. But if you open YouTube, if you don't have it open, just open it for a second, and then in the comments.
So I need to go to the comments and not
Yeah, because it won't catch your hashtag if you put it in the private chat
Okay.
here in StreamYard.
I was trying to.
And like I said, Lisa, you're welcome to get in on that too.
It doesn't. I don't see where to add it. I was trying to add it. It doesn't give me a place to add it. Comments. I think I'm in.
Well, it may not in StreamYard, but if you'll open up another window and just open up YouTube, even if you just open it for a second,
I'll do it
or
on
you
my
can do
phone.
it on your phone.
That's what I
and,
was doing.
And then just put hashtag Jenny in the live chat, and then you'll be.
I'm
in
scared
there, too.
to on my computer.
Yeah, same here. And there I am.
Yes.
Okay. All right. There I am.
It's Inception.
Okay. I think I got it.
Okay.
I sent it and I closed it so it wouldn't feedback.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. That's the only bad thing about when you have YouTube open. You have to have it muted or it'll go crazy.
Oh, I don't see a place to put anything.
Okay. Marty says that was a big help. So
You're fine. Y'all go ahead.
okay.
Wait a minute. Go ahead.
Ooh. Raymond's been asked to engrave the names of the bridesmaids on the coat hangers. Oof.
You can do it.
At a wedding. Yeah.
It's doable.
Well, that's what I started
This
to
is
say a
not
while
fun.
ago is,
No.
you know, one thing that I've seen that seems to be really popular, not that I'm going to do it because I don't make anything, but anything that has to do with weddings and babies,
Yes.
you know, and
Yeah.
I guess funerals
Pets.
too. Yeah.
Pets.
Pets are another big one. And they don't have to be really anything fancy, you know, just a regular V carving. Doesn't have to be the stack text, although that's a lot of the wedding ones are the stack text stuff. But
I don't do much individual stuff for people anymore unless it's friends, because I've gotten more into I call it the hospitality industry. Airbnbs, they want decor, and realtors want gifts to give, and resorts. We have a lot of resorts, so they're always looking for decor for their resorts.
okay, big shout out here to Mike from Never Let the Machines Win. He says hashtag Jenny, and if he wins, he's putting in an entry for you, Lisa.
Thank you.
So there you go. Good deal, Mike. You're a good dude. All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and let me swing this over here. Let me try to act like I know what I'm doing. And we'll bring up the hashtag Jenny screen. Last call for anybody who wants to get in on the pair of bits that my good buddy Cody at Cadence Manufacturing and Design is sponsoring this giveaway for these tools. And of course, you know, if you don't win, there's where you go to get them right there. And they are pretty slick. And he's adding more and more to it too. I think he's getting ready to come out with, he's just recently come out with a 90-degree down shear bit. And I think he's getting ready to come out with a 60-degree, if I'm not mistaken. So those will go like hotcakes too, I'm sure. So, all right. Good luck, everybody. I'm going to hit the little button over here and we'll give away a pair of Jenny bits tonight. Good luck, everybody. Russ Meadows.
There's Russ.
Russ Meadows in the house. He was on the show last week, I think. First time I'd seen him in a long time. But congratulations, Russ. You are the proud winner of not one, but two Genie bits, the 1/8 compression bit. Let's see, I always forget the names. I try to go off memory, but it just doesn't work anymore. It is the compression, that one right there, the mini Genie, and the downtown Genie. Right there you go. All right, and those should work nice with your Garage Works, Russ. So congrats on that. All right, do we have any other questions for Lisa or Mary? If not, I guess we'll wrap things up here. I want to thank you guys for, I said this last week, I think, when I posted that, when I got the idea, because, I thought, well, Mother's Day is coming up. And by the way, I hope everybody has a great Mother's Day tomorrow. But with Mother's Day coming up and stuff, and I'm like, well, I always just have a bunch of old guys on here. I'll see if I can find some Lady CNCers, because I know they're out there. I see stuff posted on Facebook and Instagram, and not much on YouTube, but always see good project pictures and stuff posted, so I know they're out there. And so when I came up with the idea and I posted it, I really thought that I wouldn't get any response at all, and I had about 5 or 6 gals that messaged me pretty much as soon as I posted that up there. So I want to thank you all for coming on here. Now that you've been on the show, you got one under your belt here. You're welcome back anytime. It's not this isn't a guy CNC show. It's a CNC show. So you're welcome back anytime. Troy's already asking, when are you ladies coming back?
Hey, anytime.
All righty.
I try to watch most nights. I usually am asleep this time, though.
Yeah. Well, I just stay awake for the show.
I usually watch the replay.
Okay. Well, I appreciate that. All right. Well, I guess we're going to wrap things up. Thanks everybody for tuning in tonight. We've had a pretty good sized crowd over there. I guess I haven't been putting YouTube on like I usually do, just because I've had issues mostly during my coffee sessions that I do on weekday mornings with my video getting blurry and stuff. So I've stopped opening up YouTube, because I usually don't look at it much anyway, but all the comments and stuff I can get right here through StreamYard. So thank you all for tuning in. Thank you, Mary, for joining us tonight.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Lisa, for coming on. And like I said, you guys are welcome back anytime. Doesn't have to be any kind of special occasion or anything. A lot of times we're just doing what I just call a Q&A show where we have a panel of 5 or 6 people or something like that. And if you want to come in and sit in on the panel, just let me know and I'll send you a link. And like I said, now you've got a show under your belt, so you know how it all works. And, feel free to come back anytime. Glad to have you.
Yeah.
And Ryan,
so,
I'll
Lisa,
even let you come back.
Once in a while. So Lisa, tell us how we can find you in your stuff. Like you said, you had a Facebook page and all that good stuff.
I have a Facebook page. I think the link's down there. It's a cruising company.
Yeah, there's a link in the description. If you click the show more thing where it drops it on down, there's a link to Lisa's Facebook page and also a link to Mary's Etsy store. And go check it out. They both got lots of cool stuff on their page and Etsy store. So go check it out and like them, thumbs up, all that social media jazz, and that'll help them out a little bit. All right, Ryan, you got anything else, buddy? Before we
Happy
get out of
Mother's
here?
Day.
Thank you.
Right.
Thanks.
That's right. Happy Mother's Day to everybody. And I guess we are going to get out of here. So everybody have an awesome weekend and a very happy Mother's Day tomorrow. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.